So we've got Coinmetro and KYC as an opportunity to purchase ThoughtAI's crypto coin, which is THT. For people that don't want to do the whole KYC song and dance, there is kind of the more Monero type kind of wrapped thought opportunity. A lot of people don't really understand the whole side of liquidity and who to add to it. Should it be community? Should it be investors? Should it be owners? How would you break that down so that people can understand things a bit more clearly?
The point of wrapped THT on Avalanche was to enable Thought's partner over at Lab 91 to build a product that they wanted to build. That's it. So it's open if the community wants to add more liquidity and wants to grow that sector of the ecosystem, but it was not intended to be a way around KYC or some sort of decentralized exposure. That wasn't the intention. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been done on Avalanche in the first place. It would have been, something a lot more simple, or it would have just been integrated into some kind of other exchange. But the fact of the matter is, everyone wants more exchanges and more liquidity and things like that. Well, pretty much all those exchanges are going to require KYC. If you want a Binance listing, a Coinbase listing, a KuCoin listing, an OKX listing, even Mexi now requires KYC. So as much as we don't want to do it, if you want to be in crypto these days, you don't really have much of a choice. And if you're going to continue to be a hardliner, man, I respect you a lot. But you're going to be restricting some of the things you have access to. I know people are very used to new projects just launching on Ethereum native tokens, and they can find it in a Uniswap pool on the first or second day that it's out. But this isn't one of those things. So I don't know what else to tell you. If you want to be able to take advantage of opportunities, you have to do what other people aren't willing to do. And that's what gets you ahead in the game. As far as Coinmetro goes, I've used them since 2018. I will be added to their board of directors by the end of the year. So I'm one of the earlier investors, participants, just as I am alongside Thought. So I can vouch that they're legitimate. I can vouch that they do things the legal and ethical way. And that if they weren't legally forced to by the EU, they wouldn't care if you KYC'd either. But they have rules to follow in order to stay in business. And that is currently where Thought is going to be listed probably through the end of the year, at least until more bullish price action continues and some funds are raised to get on the next tier of exchange that has more traders. But I don't think that's going to solve the issue for people who don't want a KYC. Whatever exchange is coming next, 90% sure it'll be a KYC exchange. And as far as going on some tiny little exchange that has no KYC and no reputation, like a Trade Ogre or whatever, something like that, it's not even worth it. I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, the listing is free. Well, that's at first. And then they come knock on your door a couple months later and demand that you pay $2,500 or $5,000 a month to keep that listing there. So nothing in life is free. And let's not even pretend that exchanges are anything other than casinos that are there to earn fees. So if your token isn't generating them enough fees, they're going to make it up by charging that project to keep that market alive. Let's not pretend that anything in the crypto space isn't intended with making money as well as, hopefully doing some good in the world. And these offshore exchanges no one's ever heard of, they're not doing that because they're ethical operators. So we want to keep Thought listed on good exchanges that are doing things the right way for its own reputation as well. So there is a strategy in place. And just like trading, you have to kind of snipe that right moment. And that's what we're waiting to do at Thought as well.
Where do you see kind of the world of exchanges going over the next few years?
It's my opinion that KYC is a complete waste of time. It is a huge security risk, and it does not accomplish the goals of preventing funding to criminals and terrorism whatsoever. I think the international bodies who are responsible for that are passing the responsibility along unfairly to exchanges to become the world police for criminals. And that is not the goal or the responsibility of a financial institution. However, that's what's happening. And I think it's happening because they don't want a lot of crypto exchanges to survive. They would rather the traditional wealth management firms eventually adopt the technology to allow for crypto exchange there as well. They don't want a massive new class of wealthy multi-billion or even trillion-dollar companies disrupting the world order. So they're going to continue to add more and more red tape that becomes more and more expensive, to the point where if you and I wanted to start a crypto exchange, the costs to do so just in legal work and red tape and compliance would just be horrible. And then making the user experience of going through that as horrible as possible as well. The exchanges will do the best they can to provide the best experience, but if you have to constantly go through this stuff and then update it every year and then have to send your ID again and all this other nonsense, it's going to really turn a lot of people off to crypto, and weak minds are going to get shaken out. And that's going to help the traditional firms and fiat money stay relevant a little bit longer. So without a doubt, this is a war on our industry. KYC does not keep money out of the hands of terrorists. In fact, the US government has funded more terrorists than anyone in the crypto industry has combined. So who the hell are they to be telling us what's going on? So it's not fair, it's not right, but that's what we deal with if we want to be early in on some of these opportunities. I think eventually this stuff will get streamlined, and I don't think it's ever going to go away. Like, the government just doesn't give you back your freedom unless you hang them in the town square and then reclaim it for another generation or two before it all happens all over again. But if you want to be in crypto and you want to make life-changing gains, you need to be willing to do whatever it takes. And if you really are against it, I mean, just go make a friend in Africa and have them sign up for the exchange for you for $100. And then just make sure you get your money off it after you buy your tokens or whatever. I'm sure there's someone out there who's willing to do it for you. Or
your mum will probably do it for $50, so you don't have to go to Africa.
Go get a $70. You get a $70 residency in the country of Palau or whatever it's called. I think that's going on out there. Yeah, I mean, there's a million ways to get around certain things. And it's not like no one in the THT community would be willing to do an OTC deal for a serious investor as well. So I don't think KYC is something to really cry about unless that's just what you do in life.